and gentlemen and ladies, apparently. Very cool. Welcome back to the bench. So today we have this JVC R-X44 digital synthesizer stereo receiver, and this is a beautiful machine. It's made very well. It has a Class Super A amplifier, which is not really Class A, not really Class B, and not really Class AB. I will go ahead and put up the description of what Super A is right there. You can pause and read that if you want. It's kind of interesting. I'm not going to go into it because I'll probably just mess stuff up. So I've been kicking around the idea of actually making another hi-fi system downstairs, one that I can hook up this Onkyo to. And I figured this silver JVC would be perfect, seeing as it's silver, it'll match. And maybe pair it with these JBLs with the silver woofers and the silver tweeters, just for something downstairs for us to enjoy. I know there's a lot of, I know there's going to be a couple things I'm going to have to do to this, but let me show you what's going on with it now. So it is on, and I have to use a tape. Oh, it's working now. Okay, so I was having a problem with the speaker. It cleaned itself. So yeah, it's kind of janky. So I know that I have to do that, but now another thing that I know that I have to do. All right, got to stop that before I get copyright struck. But as you could tell, hopefully as you could tell, the 4,000 hertz slide potentiometer for the old JVC here is not working. And now this is only one channel, and it's driving the right channel right now. And I was playing through my phone, so I had, both channels driven. And I noticed on the left-hand side, the 250 hertz, it didn't work at all for that side, but 250 works for right, that one works for left. Really weird. Now these are dreaded, these slide potentiometers, but what I'm going to try to do is we're going to take this front off. I want to try to clean those potentiometers as best as I can. I hope I can. I hope they're not damaged in any way, but these are kind of well known for being crappy. So everything else seems to work really well. The loudness, everything like that. The tuner works. And I think it's just it's a sharp looking receiver, if you ask me. And so, yeah, let's get to that. Okay, so before we get started taking it apart, I wanted to kind of show you guys the back here. We'll start with what I'm guessing is an AM antenna. And it's pretty cool. It flips up out of the way so you can get to your RCA jacks. But I also noticed there's this little slide thing here. I guess that's for adjusting the bandwidth of the AM antenna. I don't know. If anybody knows anything about this mechanism in here, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. Your AM channel spacing, antenna connections. You have a phono connection, 2 video connections, and then for your tape, your record and play. The very cool AC outlets, which something that I don't know if is really done anymore, but I always thought that was cool. And then this does have 2 different sets of speakers that you can hook up. If you use 1 and 2, only use 8 to 16 ohms. And then if you're using either or, they can actually go down to 4 ohms. There's the model number and all that. Victor Company of Japan, made in Japan, which is nice. Oh, can't forget your ground plug down there for your phono. Alright, so I got her opened up. It looks pretty well made. Look at the size of this transformer, it's huge. But, yeah, a lot of older components, mid-80s. One thing, that little tiny disc right there with the different colors on it, I believe that's a resistor. And I've never seen anything like that before, so if you're familiar with those types of resistors, yeah, comment down below, let me know. So it looks like it's going to be kind of rough to get at the front, although I don't really think it's going to be too bad. Got her flipped up on her side. Looks like I'm just going to have to only remove these 3 screws. There was one down there, but I took it out. And kind of looks like the front plate will just come off. Looks like it's going to be kind of rough to get down in there because those down there are the switches that I got to clean out. And the balance knob is actually buried up under here, so that's going to be hard to get to. 8,700 microfarad. Wow, those are some pretty big caps. So I've already taken off the volume knob. I think that's going to be the only thing that's going to be needed to take this off, actually. Yeah, I don't think anything else will interfere. These actually are weird. They kind of go sideways. And so I'm imagining that this front cover is going to come off, and then those will have little knobs that we can pull off. So yeah, take those screws out. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so went ahead, and there's this little blue piece that kind of goes on the front of the equalizer. Went ahead and popped that off. The ones that are pointing up are the 2 that have problems with them. And where I'm at now, I could probably just go ahead and get in there, and I can see the traces. And probably could just clean it, you know, from here, spray it, move them around, and try to break some of that surface, whatever's going on the top of those rails there. You can kind of see them in there. It's kind of hard to see. But so what I want to try to do is actually take this whole board off, and then I can get to the top of those, and I want to see if anything's mechanically broken. And I feel like that's going to be the best thing for me. I also have to clean, these are the speaker control switches, which are kind of, not really, but kind of buried under that board, and I feel like that will make it a little bit easier for me. The volume pot is right here. It's another slide pot. That one's kind of hard to see inside too, but I wanted to clean that. And maybe some of the other switches on here. So hopefully this comes off. Okay, so there it is. It's actually pretty easy and self-explanatory. You know, it's kind of funny. The thing I'm using to record this, which is kind of, you know, made for what feels like planned obsolescence. And I'm working on something that actually had serviceability in mind when they manufactured it. But just a couple of plugs down here. This LED, well, actually, that might be incandescent. Either way, that light bulb goes through down there, and that kind of lights the display. I think that's what lights up the Super A. This also gives me a better chance to get down to these switches down here. And I don't know how I'm going to clean those. I don't know if you can open those up anyway, but I think I'm just going to flip kind of the whole thing up, and then kind of just squirt them from there, go from there. Hopefully that'll work. Push them in and out as much as I can. But as you can see, yeah, this is the board. Everything looks okay. I don't see any bulged capacitors. I haven't tested anything yet. Now, it's really hard to tell, but the 2 that are in question do kind of look a little bit worse. There's a little tiny mark where you can see the little swiper from this kind of rides along, and it's not really there on those 2. I'm wondering if these were just kind of always set to the middle, and the only thing that was ever really adjusted were, you know, your low, your mid, and then the high. And I don't know, maybe they just never got moved around very much and got corrosion. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean these as much as I can, and then try to clean this switch. And while it's apart, and don't do this at home, but while it's apart, I'm just going to kind of half-ass put it back together and see if that does anything, because it would be kind of silly to put it all back together if I just have to, you know, ultimately change one of these pots or 2 of them. So hopefully that'll do it, hopefully. Well, alright, that wasn't very easy, but I think that did the trick. Basically what I did was you have to take all of the cotton off of a cotton swab, but dip it in some alcohol, and then it was actually just, you know, perfect size to get it in there. And did that a whole bunch. Yeah, there was a bunch of nasty gunk on there. So we're good there. I'm not going to show it because it's kind of tricky. You got the bridge rectifier down there and a bunch of stuff. Those red wires are actually hot wires coming in from the transformer. So I don't want to mess around too much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it back together. Oh, and I did clean the switches. Everything's working good. Did the volume pot, the balance slider, everything. So what I'm going to do is pop this all back together, and then we'll demo it and put some YouTube music on and kind of let you hear so we don't get copyright struck. Okay, got her all back together. Kind of turned the ISO down on my camera so you can kind of see the old Super A lit up, and the output VU meter as well. Now, there's not a lot of lights really on this receiver, which I guess is okay. But I know that if you put it in FMC, it does work. But I guess it just only works, you know, for that. Anywho, sounds pretty dang good. Not a lot of noise while it's sitting idle, which is very good. And I was going through the audio library, and this is the only one, I mean, without going too far, that actually sounds really, really cool on it. It's called Up in My Jam, All of a Sudden, from Kubi. And hopefully we don't get struck for this. You can literally feel from these JBLs, if you've ever had a pair of these Norridges, it literally blows in your face from these ports. But yeah, did you see them JBLs flexing? Man, this thing sounds amazing. I'll listen to it some more. Wow. All right, so there it is. Once again, Up in My Jam, All of a Sudden, from Kubi. And that's a pretty cool track, to be honest with you. It sounded good. And I don't know what I'm more happy with, the JBLs or the JVC. I know the JBLs haven't sounded that good to my ears since I put them on the Denon over there. So this is supposed to be 0.003 THD, and which is pretty good. But I don't know, there might, need to be recapped. I didn't hear any surface or background noise or anything while it was idle, like I said. But yeah, that's about it for now. I'm going to go ahead and set this up downstairs, throw the Onkyo next to it with these JBLs, and I think it's going to sound pretty good. But thanks, guys. If you like this stuff, go ahead and subscribe. Like, if you've gotten this far. Wouldn't see why you wouldn't. But really appreciate you stopping along, and thank you very much, and have a good one, or the best one. Have the best one. Bye. Okay, guys, sorry, just for a little bit extra content. Yeah, I had this thing just sitting plugged in, turned on, and yeah, it turns out the display is working really good now. Yeah, so it looks like that's all working awesome. And for anyone wondering, I do listen to rap. Boy, we're really pushing it in this one, aren't we? Thanks, guys. Subscribe.